Welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Join us every Wednesday to learn about the latest cutting-edge developments in the real-time communications industry. ClueCon Weekly is brought to you by FreeSWITCH Solutions. Get support and professional services directly from the creators of the FreeSWITCH open source project, solving your issues in the most efficient, stable, and scalable way possible. Get the FreeSWITCH advantage. Visit freeswitch.com. Also brought to you by ClueCon, the premier technology conference for developers by developers. Join us every summer in Chicago. ClueCon kicks off on Monday with our annual hackathon, The Coder Games, followed by 3 days of technology-rich presentations discussing telecom, WebRTC, and IoT from developers around the world. To learn more, visit ClueCon.com or call 877-74-A-CLUE.
Hey guys, welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Today is Halloween, October the 31st, and today we're going to be joined by Jeremy from H-Tech. He's going to be telling us all about their phones and some other stuff they've got going on over there, so you guys stand by for that. First, let's jump over to Abby for the news. Miss Abby, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you for asking. Happy Halloween, everybody, and thank you for joining us today on ClueCon Weekly. So as always, if you have any questions during this call, please feel free to comment them in the YouTube, HipChat, Slack, or IRC channels, and we will try to answer them live during this call. And if you're watching us live on YouTube right now, please give us a share. Also make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all that fun stuff to stay up to date with the FreeSWITCH team. So it is never too early to start thinking about ClueCon, and it's never too early to start thinking about our early bird registration. So that's going to start soon. It hasn't started quite yet, but it's coming up really quick, and that's going to be $699 for registration if you are staying at the Swiss Hotel for ClueCon this year. And ClueCon is back to its normal dates. We're going to be back August 5th through 8th, so make sure you mark your calendars for that. Also coming up is our next FreeSWITCH training. So our next FreeSWITCH training is on November 8th, so that's coming up pretty quick. So if you're interested in that, you can visit our website, freeswitch.com, for more information on that and to get more information on our other products. That's all the announcements I have for today. Thank you, everyone, and back to you, Ken.
All right, thank you very much, Miss Abby. So we're gonna jump over to Mike Malbrutus with Community Corner. Mike, how you doing?
Good. Happy Halloween. So we have a question for Mike Jarris, and the question comes off the FreeSWITCH users mailing list. It's from Andrew Keel, and Andrew Keel asks, to FreeSWITCH users, I have just noticed when making calls internationally to the UK from Australia that the following SDP sometimes happens when a call lands on FreeSWITCH. And then we have the SDP, which
oops. This is the wrong one. It's the wrong question. I gave you the wrong one.
Yeah, I know we did this last week. So, Mike, why is Andrew's SDP messed up?
Because I gave you the completely wrong question. The one that I was looking at was from Chandramouli P, and let me send that to you right now. So the question that I was looking at is about a user who was receiving from a mobile phone a Dtmf digit A, and he didn't understand what that was.
Okay.
So that's the one I was prepared to answer, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so Mike, what is the Dtmf digit A?
Yeah. So something that most of us don't know about the history of Dtmf, because phones don't have A, B, C, and D on them anymore, is the original Dtmf, including on physical devices, was 0 through 9, plus star, plus pound, and A, B, C, and D. It was a 4x4 matrix of buttons, 16 in total. So A, B, C, and D are totally normal Dtmf keys, and it just so happens that in the last 30 or 40 years, they aren't on phones anymore. That being said, on many soft phones and some devices, you can still send them, and pretty much every bit of equipment in the signaling path still totally supports A, B, C, and D DTMF. So it is maybe rare, but not really weird to actually receive A, B, C, and D DTMF, either from someone actually sending them, as some dialer apps do support. I did a little research. It looks like Apple CallKit APIs do support sending A, B, C, and D DTMF. So while the default dialer doesn't support it, in the UI, it is something that can be sent. And I'm sure there's the same sort of thing for Android. It is possible to receive them. And it can be used for handy things. If you're trying to insert kind of special behaviors inside of a call, you could use A, B, C, and D as special triggers in DTMF. So those are out there. So it's not that weird that you would receive them. Although, since it's very hard to dial them, it may just be a misdetection of a DTMF. Just like sometimes poor detectors can detect DTMF when you don't hit them, they can just as easily detect A, B, C, and D as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's something that, when developing IVRs, you should at least make sure your IVRs don't crash when they receive an A, B, C, or D, even if you want to ignore them. For people who are trying to actually create a test case, as the thread goes on to say, you can use a SIP application that can send a DTMF A, B, C, and D to create a test case that could do this.
Okay, and how does that a lot of times when we see in the SDP, there's a declaration for RFC
2833.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so usually it shows it'll be 101, and then I'll be 0 to 15, right? And then
yes.
So would it be 0 to 19 or something? How would it actually display?
No, the 0 to 15, that's the 16 DTMF digits that represents are 0 through 9, which is 10 of them, star and pound, 11 and 12, and
right.
A, B, C, and D, 13, 14, 15, 16. So those are the 16 DTMF digits.
So it's actually, it's in that character set.
Yeah, there is another RFC that has superseded 2833. It's RFC 4733. And it goes on to define a whole bunch of other things beyond those 16 DTMFs of ways to describe other tones in music as well. In practice, I've never seen any device that actually supports any of those, but pretty much every single thing that I've seen that negotiates RFC 2833 does support all 16 digits. So
I've seen 0 to 16, and so the last one is, I think, line.
Oh, it's that one is supported sometimes and not supported sometimes. I believe it's Flash.
Yeah,
Flash.
That's it, Flash.
That one isn't universally supported, but a lot of stuff does. But the A, B, C, and D, there is stuff that only supports the 12. But I haven't seen anything that said just the 12 in probably 6 or 8 years, and I think I only saw it once or twice in my whole career. So it is not very frequent that you'd see that. A, B, C, and D is great for secret, stupid telephony tricks, though. Most people don't know that, and it can be used for clever things, sending secret signals in band. Strange things in applications you can signal across that'll mostly pass even, the telephone network. So be creative. Use A, B, C, and D for good and not evil.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike. Answers from the experts.
Yep, no problem.
And then to you, Abby.
All right, hi guys, and welcome back for the blog spot. There I am. So every week we just talk a little bit about the things that we discuss on the FreeSWITCH blog. So today I picked out another bit of a controversial topic, which is the question, is technology disconnecting us from each other? And we have all heard the same anecdote at least 100 times, I was at a restaurant yesterday and I saw two people sitting across from each other and they were just staring at their phones. It's so sad and spooky, like a modern day horror story, and nobody can connect to each other anymore and blah, blah, blah. We've all heard that story. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think technology helps us connect more. And then I'm going to ask Jersey Mike what he thinks, and we're going to have a little bit of a conversation. I definitely think that there's validity in these statements. The University of Chicago published a study that said social media is more addictive than cigarettes, which is totally crazy, but it makes perfect sense. And we only have so much time in a day. And if we're spending it online, that means we're not spending it with real life people. And there's no denying that spending time with real life people is very important. But in my opinion, when we're on our phones, we are actually interacting with real life people. When you see somebody fiddling with their phone, like on the train back from work, it's really easy to think like, oh, that's so sad. They're just spending all their time staring at a glowing brick. But there's actually real people on the other side of that phone who are contributing their own new perspectives and ideas on things. For example, those funny memes that we see on our Facebook walls, they don't just appear out of nowhere. A real human being spent time making that image because they found it funny or clever or because it meant something to them. And then another real human being is connecting to that image enough to share it with the person who is staring at their phone. Blog posts, news articles, even silly web comics, they're all written by people who are trying to communicate a new idea. Another thing we hear a lot is, I don't know why these kids feel the need to tell me what they had for lunch on Twitter, which is pretty funny, but this is actually not even a new concept. Human beings are really social creatures, and communication is at the core of who we are. Our brains are literally wired to share our lives with other people. So that strange desire we have to tell people what we had for lunch today or when we bought a new car is definitely not new. People have been doing it since the dawn of time, although social media platforms like Instagram make it a lot easier to share. But this social desire is what has kept us alive all this time. One tiny human being has a very small chance of surviving very long. But an entire group of human beings working together, now that becomes dangerous. Now you've got an apex predator. So socialization is really important to who we are. And I think that technology just makes that easier to communicate with people from across the world. So now we're going to see what Jersey Mike thinks, because I know he's got a little bit different of an opinion, as do I'm sure a lot of you watching. So Jersey Mike, what do you think? Do you think that technology is helping us connect or is disconnecting us?
Well, you really have to look at the medium, right? And so I think that, there's some wonderful things with video that I first realized, traveling a lot. And so I'd be away from my family and, having the chance to video chat over applications like Signal and all these different messengers, they're wonderful, right? It brings you closer to people. But here's the thing, like you said, it's almost like a double-edged sword, because what we're doing is we're communicating with people in our devices and we're communicating with people. And so when you go to dinner, you see those children, they're in their little iPads and they're playing their little multi-user games and stuff like that, or like whatever they're doing, surfing, they're out on YouTube. God knows looking at what. But it's all a little terrifying. And so, I was at a conference in New York, and I was hanging out at a friend's booth, and a customer came up, and so what I do is I walk away really quick. talk with the customer. But I kind of lurked a little bit because I was a little curious. And so at one point, the guy says, he goes, well, we need one way to unify all these technologies. So you have like Signal, you have Telegram, you have all these different messengers. We need one to pull it all together. And I just, sometimes I just talk when I shouldn't, right? And so I just looked at him. I go, we call that text messaging an MMS.
It's all right.
And they just looked at me like, what's wrong with you?
Man bun.
So, we the technologies with all these different mediums, they segregate each other and they create little sub-communities.
That's
and
true.
There's no way to have them all in one place. Of course, like everyone's on Facebook. So that's the largest community. But, in the end, there's all these tiny little different ones. I think, 20, 30 years ago, the telephone network, they put it together right. It was one way. You just call a phone number and you get there.
It's pretty funny because like back when they invented the telephone, everybody was saying the same things that we are saying today. They're like, well, if anybody could call you in your home, you can never escape. Like people always expect you to answer, and people aren't going to talk to each other face to face anymore. They're only going to talk on the phone, and they're pretty much to say the same things that we've been saying, but I guess they had no idea the scope that we could go, and it's crazy to think what the scope will be like, just 30 years from now.
And the other thing is there's localities too. Like according to like in the US, we're very tech-centric.
Oh,
People send a lot of text messages. But all of a sudden you go out to Europe and they're all using mobile apps like crazy. And there's no SMS traffic. So I was talking to someone last week and she tells me that she goes, wow, maybe I send like 3 or 4 text messages. I'm thinking to myself like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And so we all say that phone numbers are going to disappear, but and MMS is going to disappear. But in the end, we were never really able to get rid of fax. So it's always going to be there in some way or form. It just maybe 1 or 2 a month. Who knows?
All right. Any final thoughts about whether, I think it helps us connect. Jersey Mike thinks it disconnects us. Definitely let us know what you think, either in the comments of this video or on Twitter. Let us know. All right. Thanks for chatting with me. Very interesting. I know it's very controversial. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions, and I think they will forever. So let us know what yours is, and goodbye.
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going today?
Pretty good, Michael. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. It's always great to get, equipment manufacturers on the line and to hear about what's new with their products and what they've got going on. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about H-Tech and everything you've been doing. You've got some new and interesting stuff coming out, right?
Yes, we do have some great new stuff coming out. We have some co-branded or easy branding phones, which makes it easier for the reseller to put their name on it or even their customer's name. So we'll show you those phones here in a little bit. You mentioned a little bit about myself. I've been in the industry since about 91. Started off in the digital age with the Panasonic and the Avaya phone systems. And so I've just moved along and grew with the industry as the industry grew into IP. And so now we're into the VoIP world, and I've been in the VoIP world probably for the last 10 years now. So we're staying on top of it.
Amazing, huh?
Yes, the VoIP world is amazing, and it was a rough start. A lot of your traditional telephone people withheld, stood back for a long time, and I still run into people that still don't believe VoIP is necessary, and yet they don't realize they're using VoIP every day. You get a phone line
what's really
from.
Funny is I always used to say it was like in the beginning it was like a war of attrition.
Yes.
Right? it was very in the beginning. It was very hard. People, there was this. The argument used to be, you can save money and that type of stuff. And now it's none of that anymore. You don't need to sell it anymore. It's just people understand that they need VoIP.
And I mean, the technology, the things you can do with VoIP today versus a POTS line is amazing. Not to mention saving the money. And most people don't realize that POTS lines are far and few between today. You get a Verizon Fios line coming in, that's a VoIP line. It just converts it to POTS when it gets to the consumer with that little gateway, or same with a cable modem. So I mean, everybody's using VoIP lines today, even if they don't realize it.
Right. So like you think about some of the earlier successful VoIP providers like Vonage. The reason why they did so well is because they had that integrated ATA. Right. And in the end, they were just handing it off in RJ11, and people just didn't need to know anything.
Yep, that's true. I've walked into businesses, and they'll have 6 Vonage ATAs there plugged into their old school Avaya phone system or something. And it's amazing. And that technology obviously is a little bit older now compared to what some of the other VoIP carriers are doing today. But yeah, it was amazing to see 6 ATAs there converting a Vonage line to POTS to plug into their Nortel or Avaya phone system. That was always.
So what do you think? What do you see coming up?
What do I see coming up?
What do you think is going to happen in the world of VoIP?
I mean, there's always that argument, desktop phones going away, and we're all going to cell phones and soft phones. I don't think that's happening. The numbers every year of the hardware keep growing; they don't decrease. So the hardware is not going anywhere, I don't think. And you actually see some people going back to premise-based VoIP phone systems. Running the FreeSWITCH on a PC or server at location. And bringing SIP chunks into there versus running in the cloud. So it's an interesting time, and it'll be curious to see what the next 5 years bring.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it's changing at such a quick pace that the next couple of years are really going to show how the technology is so good. It's going to dynamically change.
Yes, and and reliability has always been number one. Best selling. So the better reliability you can get, the better off you are. And I think 5G, when 5G comes out, I think that's going to help with reliability. You have a lot of customers already using 3 or 4G as a backup on their router for their VoIP circuits, and so 5G is just going to increase that backup too. And you might even see people go to 5G as their primary internet source with VoIP. I mean, I've seen offices of 10 people running on 3G with no problem. So I think 5G will be a game changer too for the VoIP world.
Well, what's really interesting is depending on which line of service you have, like some of the MVNOs have really high quality QoS on them. So you could use that data channel for not just 1 or 2 lines of voice, but you can really stream a pretty good amount of it. And then also with some of the look at Opus. I mean, my God, forward error correction? I mean, 30-40% packet loss, and the voice isn't even disturbed. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then even you can work with lower bit rates and all that stuff. It's all the stuff that's coming through now. I mean, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. And some of your I think it's Next Vortex that has this new router out that they're sending the information live off both WANs. So if one WAN goes off, it doesn't lose a beat. So it's sending the mirror traffic off both WANs to the endpoint. So it's pushing traffic back and forth between which one's better. And if one dies, it continues the traffic. They had a neat example going at IT Expo last year to where they literally had music on hold, had called into music on hold. They unplugged one WAN, it kept on going, plug it back in, plug the other one, kept on going, never lost a call. So I mean, the technology today is is getting very impressive.
So you have some screens for us, right?
Yes, I do have a little PowerPoint that gives you a little overview about H-Tech. We have some information about phonism that we've talked about in the past, and we also have a huge promotion that we're running till the end of the year. So, yeah, if you want to do the screen share, let's talk about it a little bit.
So,
yep,
tell me about the promotion.
You want to jump right into the promotion, do you?
Okay, all right. let's. I don't want to make you jump through it. Sorry.
All right. So let me So for some people that are not familiar with H-Tech, H-Tech was founded in 2005. We are 100% focused on the VoIP field. H-Tech VoIP producers design and manufacture the phone systems. We're also an OEM manufacturer, so we do a lot of OEM products for other manufacturers out there. 80 plus people are professional VoIP engineers, so we have a heavy, strong staff of VoIP engineers. We've been, all our leading engineers have more than 15 years experience in the telecom industry, and we are the only VoIP third-party partner for Texas Instruments out of China since 2010. So that shows you a little bit of our qualification and our quality of our engineers. And we've sold over 2 million units throughout the world since 2005.
Well, and TI is a major chip manufacturer as well, right?
Correct. Yes, they are. And we're doing all the VoIP engineering for them as a third-party vendor. To give you our timeline, like I mentioned, 2005, Analog, which is the sister company or the parent company of H-Tech, was founded. H-Tech actually started off as a small IP PBX, and then we decided to move away from the IP PBX and actually got into the gateway world. And around 2008, then we decided we didn't like that arena either. And in 2009, we started producing enterprise IP phones. 2010 is when we became the third party for Texas Instrument. 2011 is when we started doing OEM products for European customers. And then 2013 is when we released our first private label series phones, which was the 800 series phones. And then, 2015, we came out with the UC900 series phones, which are the phones that we're still selling today, and we're still improving on. And last year, we came out with our latest phone, which is a Wi-Fi Bluetooth IP phone that's built in. No extra dongles, no USB dongles, or no chips to set in the back of the phone. It's actually built into the phone. So that's a huge benefit. And you get the best distance and quality when it's actually built in the phone versus an external device. And we have on our roadmap to be released at the end of this year is a large touchscreen IP phone.
And what's that? What OS does that run? Does it run Android or?
It hasn't been released yet, so I can't comment on it yet.
Okay.
Because it's on our roadmap. I think it's going to be Android because there's a lot of applications, especially soft phones, that you can download on an Android device. So I think it's going to be Android, but it's possible it could be closed. But I'm hoping it's Android.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of line of our 6 phones. The 926, 924, and the 912 all come in an E version. The E stands for gigabit Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So the UC912 is our low-end gigabit Bluetooth Wi-Fi phone, which I want to say to the resellers maybe $50, somewhere around there. Our high-end
and Wi-Fi is very useful for like retailers and stuff like that.
Absolutely, it's very useful for retailers. It's great for warehouses where you don't have a Cat5 cable going out to the warehouse, but they have Wi-Fi throughout the warehouse. It's a great phone for that odd place that you need a phone that you can't run a Cat5 to, or you don't want to spend the money. I mean, most people, getting $125 per Cat 5 drop. So, you buy one phone for less than that, or you buy a Cat 5 drop and then still add the phone. So, it's an economical way to go.
Yeah, and with the retailers, what they do is they change their floor plans so frequently that they can't even have the Cat 5s in there.
That's right. And some of the new kiosks for a lot of like JCPenney's and places like that, they, like you said, they're moving their POS constantly and rearranging their floor and moving their POS. So their POS station needs to be mobile, and the best way to have a mobile PBS or POS station is to add a Wi-Fi phone to it. So they don't have to have, the only thing you need to worry about is power, because the POS computer will be Wi-Fi, their phone will be Wi-Fi. They just got to plug in the electric outlet somewhere, and they're good to go. Which is great. As you said, every holiday the retail shops are changing up their floor plan. A little bit about our highest end phone, which is the UC926. It also has a E model. That's a gigabit color screen phone. It's a large screen phone. It's 4.3 inches. It can do 16 SIP accounts. It has 8 feature keys, and then it has 36 paperless DSS buttons. So we do have a Google screen, so there's a multiple page screen, which is great. And all our color phones have multi-page. And actually the 903, which is a non-color phone, has multi-page too. Go.
What are the DSS keys for? Is that for like it would be a receptionist and they'd see like BLF and present showing up for the other for the other extensions?
Exactly. I mean, DSS keys can be whatever the customer wants it to be. It could be multiple lines. It could be other extensions. It could be a voicemail indicator for your voicemail or other voicemails that you're monitoring. So, an professional assistant can monitor his or her boss's voicemail button. So, they can check messages for them. It could be speed dials to people in the outside world. It could be a door phone opener. It could be just about anything. It could be a hot button. It could be a paging button. It could be a park button. A lot of times people are used to the old key system to where you have line 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and they don't get the concept of, parking call and having to dial a code to get that call back. So you could have park buttons as in park 1, park 2, park 3, park 4. So when a call gets parked, it lights up that button. So it kind of implements a key system feature for the people who haven't gotten into the PBX world of features.
And that's a very common request too.
Yes, it is. And if VoIP struggles with anything, that's probably the biggest thing VoIP struggles with is the ability to do line sharing. Because all the PBXs are in a park mode versus a line mode where you put the line on hold, as in a key system feature.
Yeah, and then it becomes, from a signaling perspective, it becomes very challenging too, because you've got all these subscribe, notifies.
Yep.
You got 16 keys filled up. That's 16 times as many subscribes.
Yeah, exactly. All our colored phones are PoE out of the box. And then in the lower end phones, 903, 912, and 902 all have the option of being PoE or not, kind of up to the reseller that buys the keys. We do have a promotion going on. It's a $99 demo phone. It's the UC926E, and it's also going to have the easy branding feature on there that we'll talk about here in a few minutes. If anybody is interested in that demo phone, they can just send me an email, jeremy@htech.com, and I'll get them in front of one of the distributors that are carrying this demo phone. So into the easy branding service. So we have 2 easy branding services. We have one easy branding service where we actually put the logo on your phone. And the minimum order is 1,000 for those phones. You can take order on 500, and then take a second order of 500 within 6 to 10 months.
And that's great. People always love to see their brands.
Yes, they do. And low margins, thousand handsets for this particular rebranding is very, very low. A lot of our competition is 5,000 to 10,000 on their co-branding phones. So we're very competitive in that market.
So typically, what type of organization goes for the custom branding?
As far as the end user, a lot of some hospitals will do it. You'll have universities do it where they'll put their team logo on it. And then a lot of your MSPs do it because they're offering their phone service because they have their own switch that they have their name on it, and so the name matches the phone. So, they can say that, hey, I have an ABC phone system where the cloud is ABC and the phone's ABC. And all our phones.
So let me ask you this: for the MSPs, do they have the ability to lock down the firmware too?
They, out of the box, no, but we can do that. So we've done that. We've done branding for other MSPs that wanted their own firmware on it with their name on it and lock it down, and we have done that. That's a little bit more involved and a little more commitment on the MSP side of it, but it is doable, and we've done it several times. And all our phones come with a 2-year warranty. Here's a couple of the PBXs that we work with. As you can see, FreeSWITCH is on there. All these PBXs that are on this slide, we have certified with the manufacturer to have all the features work on our phones that particular manufacturer offers. So if it's a FreeSWITCH function, then that function will work on the HNEC phone. And we keep our firmware up to date with the FreeSWITCH firmware to make sure all those features continue to work. Here's our newest easy branding kind of service. It's a bezel, so there's no minimum buy. You could buy 5 phones, you could buy 50 phones. You just got to buy the bezels, and the bezels are $100 for 100 of them, so they're $1 a bezel. So this is perfect for that guy in the truck IT company or iPhone or IP phone company that wants to put his name and logo on his phones and sell to his resellers. Very inexpensive for him to get into that white label kind of option. It's also great for resellers to use for customers. Everybody is in love with their logo, and that's an extra selling thing to say, hey, for $100, I'll put your name, your logo on your phones. So now the customer has his name and logo on the phones, which is what we're seeing a lot of right now.
Wow, and I'm sure organizations would love that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and there's no minimum quality. I mean, $100 is no big deal. It's $100 for 100 bezels, but put it on 5 phones, put it on 20 phones, put it on 10 phones. So it's not a huge investment to get into this situation.
Yeah.
Ooh. So the bezels do come right from HTech. We do have a 7-day turnaround time on the bezels to be shipped out from China. So basically, to order a bezel, I'll give you the website here in a few minutes on where you can order the bezel. But here's the phone in the box from us comes like this. It comes with an HTech logo bezel. It comes with a My Logo bezel. And then obviously you'll have the bezel that you purchase. So if you want to keep the HTech logo on, great. Just pop it on there. If you want to put your bezel on, feel free. And the bezels all come with sticky tape on the back of it, industrial strength. So once you stick it on there, it's staying on there. It's not coming off. Here's the website. Not an easy one to remember, but if you're interested, just email me and I can send you that link. It's pretty simple. You put in your information and you upload your logo. Within about 48 hours, HTech will respond with a proof. You prove it, you like it, you send them a PayPal, $100 or however many you ordered. The more you order, the cheaper it is. And within 7 days, HTech will send the bezels out. It probably takes about another 5 days to get them from China. So you're looking at a 2-week turnaround time from start to finish on the bezels themselves. But great little application for HTech. And a lot of our distributors will put those bezels on for you. So if you send the bezels to the distributor, he'll actually stick it on for you before it leaves the distribution. So if you're drop shipping phones to customers, they'll already have your logo on it for you. Great little added value for our distributors to sell HTech phones. Let's see, before I get into phonism, I do want to show you the logos here. So here's an example of the bezels. So you can see how they come out. They're plastic. They're heavy duty. They're the same kind of quality plastic as the phone itself. The phone will come like this, and then you just pop it on there. You pull off the tape, pop it on there. I obviously not using tape because I'm taking them on and off to show people, but it's that simple, and it looks like it's just part of the phone. So a great little.
You know what? I think hotels would love that, right?
Who would?
It's perfect for like hotel chains.
Oh yes, definitely hotel chains. Absolutely. I mean, the hotel industry has gotten very creative with phones in their hotels now too. Because now with the big screens, they can throw advertisement on there for the pizzeria down the street and the Chinese restaurant and everything else. So a lot of hotel chains are putting their name on the phone and then advertising things on the phone with one touch dialing to the catering, the food services. And the food services are paying the hotel to put their advertisement on the phone. So phones have become a moneymaker.
So I was just traveling last week.
Yep.
And they had in the room, they gave a free cell phone.
Nice.
And so what I try to do is I try to take the SIM out and activate the SIM on my phone because I have a dual SIM.
Right.
Needless to say, it didn't work. But you get like I was very skeptical about it actually because I was like, what's going to happen is they've got the geolocation, they know where I am, and then all of a sudden I'm going to start getting little ads popping up on the phone saying, "Eat at this restaurant."
What was your advantage for the cell phone? I mean, because obviously you have your own cell phone. So what did you find any use for it or advantage to have it?
No, I actually, after I couldn't get the SIM activated, I just pulled the plug on it and threw it in the drawer.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'm trying to think in my head right now, what's the application or the use case that somebody would have for a cell phone in the hotel. I mean, I get the physical phone because by most states still by law the hotel has to have an active phone in each hotel room for E911. So they have to have the phone there, and why not throw advertisements on it and make some money? So I get all that benefit. But a cell phone, I would think more people would walk away with the cell phone trying to steal it than actually make it worth its while.
Yeah, this was in Europe though.
Okay.
So I think the concept there is just have a local phone.
Gotcha.
With a local phone number.
for people traveling like yourself. Which that makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, a little bit about phonism. I know I was on the show before talking about phonism. Phonism is a cloud-based solution for the provisioning and ongoing management of VoIP devices. HTech has teamed up with Phonism, so we're a fully certified phone on the Phonism platform. A couple of things that's cool about Phonism, it's cloud-based, it's touchless provisioning, which means basically it doesn't matter the type of phone, it doesn't matter the PBX. All that information can be put into Phonism, and then the phone will pre-provision. And Phonism has access to our RPS servers. So if you put an extension, if you upload the provision file and say, hey, give it to these 3 extensions with these 3 MAC addresses, it's going to send out a request to our HTech RPS server to say, hey, these MAC addresses belong to me. Come to Phonism to get its provisioning server. So this is a great little service for PBXs that don't have its own built-in provisioning server, or a scenario to where they want one place to manage multiple platforms. So it's a great little device. I have
I believe they actually wrote a Python script for FreeSWITCH too.
Yes, they do have.
So there's an integration there. So
correct.
Which really simplifies things.
Yes, there is definitely a FreeSWITCH integration. And Phonism was at ClueCon last year. Them and us did a booth together, and they had a presentation at ClueCon about the integration. So it's a great add-on for FreeSWITCH. It takes away that painful provisioning of each phone manually. Here's some of the current brands that Phonism sponsors. Obviously, our favorite is HTech. A little copy of the dashboard. You can see how many phones are up, see which phones are which provider, what kind of brands, which phones are out of sync or in sync. So it's a great management tool too. It tells you when a phone goes down. You can troubleshoot.
And so it can actually push firmware too, right?
It can push firmware. It can push firmware. It can provisioning config files. They're working on live monitoring as far as like MOS scores. So they're monitoring the MOS score of each device, and if the MOS score goes below a certain level, it can email a certain person or alert people, so that way you can troubleshoot what's going on with the MOS score. Is it a customer's internet? Is the server location internet's going bad, or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times it gives you a lot of troubleshooting
based on the EAP or the RSTP.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a great tool for managing phones when that edition comes out in the new release. Mark at Phonism is the VP of sales, so he can answer any questions at Phonism. Obviously, you can always email me to get more information. Because HTech is a sponsor of Phonism, we are giving 3 months free management with Phonism. So if you buy an HTech phone and you want to use Phonism, you'll get 3 months free of Phonism management or the free provisioning. And I want to say that deal's good to the end of the year also. So here is our new promotion that you were talking about earlier. We are sending a few people on a Royal Caribbean cruise. There are 2 chances to win tickets.
I want to go on a cruise.
You want to go on a cruise? Well, you need to buy some HTech phones then. So we are giving away 3 sets of cruise tickets. So they're a pair. So the winners get 2 tickets, for husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case may be. So the first chance, nice typo here. First chance is the top 2 resellers that sell over 300 phones by the end of the year will get 2 tickets on a cruise. And this is with NTS Direct, is our distributor that is handling this promotion. So if you're interested in this promotion, you have to buy your phones from NTS Direct. The other way to win a cruise is simply buy an H-Tech phone. So for every H-Tech phone you purchase, you are entered into the drawing for a pair of tickets. Obviously, the two resellers that win the tickets for over the 300 units, they'll be automatically disqualified for the individual raffle. So we'll have 3 resellers who get a cruise. And the $99 demo phone does qualify you for a cruise. So a great little package there if you like cruising. If you've never been on a cruise before, it's something you're definitely missing. But anybody have any questions on our branding phones or the cruise promotion or phonism? Okay. Did I lose everybody, or are everybody still here?
No, I think we're looking to see if there's any questions, and I think you have answered pretty much all the questions so far without having to ask them.
Well, we try to be
the branding
thorough.
stuff is actually really cool. I mean, the concept of actually putting it instead of like the MSP's name and actually the customer, I think that's a huge added value.
Yes, I agree. And we're finding a lot of our customers are doing that. We thought it would be big for the resellers themselves to put their name on it, but we're finding it more as a reseller, as a tool to sell to end users. So the end users are actually putting their name on it, which we're excited about. We don't care whose name they put on it as long as they're buying our phones.
Okay, Jeremy. Well, thank you for coming in today. You're always welcome to come back, and we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoy my time here every time I come.
Yeah, well, you're welcome in here, Jeremy. So thanks for coming in and showing off the phone today. If you guys want to get in on that promotion there, and you have any questions, I'm sure Jeremy would be more than welcome to answer those questions for you, and you can see his email address right there, and he can tell you where to buy the phones and all kinds of other good fun stuff. So reach out to him on that. So thanks, Jeremy. Mike Mavrutis, thank you. Michael Jarrett, thank you for answering.
I want to go on a cruise.
Right. Mike Jarrett, thank you for answering the Community Corner question this week. And everybody check out Abby's blog spot there on the website, FreeSWITCH.com. And, also be sure you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. For you guys watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down below. And then right next to it, you'll see a little bell. That's for alerts. That'll let you know when we're going live and when we post new videos in the future. So do that, and you'll know when we're live, and you'll get to see who our next guest is. You'll also see it when we post other videos, like Fred likes to do videos on how to configure things in FreeSWITCH. So as he posts more of those, you'll get the alerts for those also. Anyway, thanks, guys. You guys have a good Halloween tonight. Be safe out there trick-or-treating, and have a great weekend following that. We'll see you guys next week.
You've been watching ClueCon Weekly. Tune in every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central. Keep up with the latest happenings by subscribing to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or visit us at FreeSWITCH.com.